touring the Vatican with him, and he is a wealth of knowledge about the Vatican. So I was really privileged to get a tour, especially of the Bernini columns. He may
Oh,
remember
wow.
them. And he gave me a tour of the sculptures around the Bernini columns there. I'll leave it to him to enlighten us about that. It's a very interesting story if he wants to take the time. But also, he's a wonderful individual with a fantastic sense of humor. And he actually um, departed from the Catholic Church and developed his own congregation, the African American uh, Catholic congregation. He's the founder of the Imani Temple, which is the African American Catholic congregation. And recently he became Patriarch Stallings because he stepped away from active pastorship of his churches. So I met him first in 2001 when Father and Mother Moon were doing their 50-state tour, and he really made a big splash at that time in our movement. And since then, he has become the director or president. I'm not sure of his exact title. I apologize, Patriarch,
Chairman,
of the interfaith or international. Oh gosh,
the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development. So be
thank
it.
you so much. Thank you. So it's the day before Thanksgiving. I guess I can use that as an excuse now.
You can.
Thank you. But without further ado, let us welcome to the podium our beloved patriarch, George Augustus Stallings Jr.
Thank, thank you so much, my beloved and esteemed brother, Reverend Barry Geller. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this 243rd Universal Peace Federation in association with the Interreligious Association for Peace and Development weekly interfaith program because you have me in hysterics. You have me really laughing. I'm coming to you today for the first time in our 243 prayer services. I'm coming to you from the great state of North Carolina. Uh,
Wonderful.
Minister Sharon Pace would be so happy. I wish that she had been on the program today as MC, but I love you, of course, as our
Yeah,
host.
that would be nice,
But
though.
wouldn't that have been amazing? She would have been
Yeah.
totally shocked. I'm here at
I did send her an invitation, but I don't see her here just yet.
Yes, and so I'm here at my parents' home for it's an annual tradition that we come from all over the world to be here
Wow,
with our parents for uh, Thanksgiving Day. My
that is
father, isn't
wonderful.
that wonderful? My father spiritually transitioned back on January the 12th, 2017. But my mom is 91 years old, very active, energetic. She
Fantastic.
prepared breakfast for us today. She washed our clothes, put them on the line outside so that nature could dry them rather than in a rather than a drying machine. And
Great.
and so it's just a great opportunity. It's amazing how you remembered about that tour that I conducted at the Vatican of St. Peter Basilica, and we talked about the baldacchino
Yes.
that's over the high altar there in that great monumental place called St. Peter Basilica. And I talked to you about the designs. That baldacchino was done by uh, Bernini, and that you remember that. I almost forgot myself. You reminded me.
You
And
explained
one of
about the sculptures around there. The I think there are four
right,
times four, 16 different sculptures.
exactly at the base of the
Yeah,
columns of the baldacchini, and one of them actually shows an expression of a woman giving birth, which is
exactly.
very interesting. That we're not going to tell anyone else what led to that particular last sculpture
Gotcha.
on the base of the column because we don't want to shock anyone as to what
Yes.
that was a reference to as actually who impregnated that woman that was giving birth. But it's a reason to not only go to Rome to see it, but when you go to give me an invitation to go with you so that I can point that out to you as
Well,
well.
that may happen because as I hear Dr. Jenkins and many others are inspired to revive the Middle East Peace Initiative. So,
Exactly.
no.
So one of our stops was at Rome, and
And
particularly
how
the Vatican.
appropriate it is that we have the spirit of Dr. Dawood Assad here in his brother,
Oh, his brother here. When we
Dean
hear
Assad.
from Yadin Assad, it's I admire the Assad brothers, and so this is a great broadcast, and to all of those who are celebrating the American or Canadian um, celebration, the feast of Thanksgiving. We wish you happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much.
Canada and the United States
We
celebrate
used to briquet.
Thanksgiving on different days, different times of the year. So
We all
our,
celebrated, Reverend.
they
We
do
all
what?
celebrate Thanksgiving.
Yes, you have Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we all celebrate it.
Always, always. But
Yeah,
I wonder.
even Muslims, we do celebrate it.
Exactly. You
Wonderful.
celebrate it, and you are allowed to eat turkey. Uh,
Yes, turkey, no problem, but pork is the
right
problem.
now, leave the pig in the stall.
Anything but pork.
Right, anything but pork, no
Yeah.
pork. But right, so it's a great celebration. Thanksgiving is we give thanks to the Creator for having so fearfully and wonderfully made each one of us in His image and likeness, breathed the breath of life into mortal flesh that we might come forth as living souls, living beings. And when
Amen.
and Thanksgiving is a time for just simply giving thanks for our faith. For our faith, it doesn't matter what vehicle we're driving to get to the destination. We're all going to heading to the same destination. So we celebrate and we give thanks to God for our faith.
But remember, we thank God every day. We have to keep thanking God every day. We have to remember God in every moment
You're
uh,
so correct.
in our life.
Oh,
Without God, we cannot survive.
exactly.
That's how we believe.
This is an awesome interfaith prayer service already because it gives us it gives us a time to have this unique moment to interact with each other, to interface, and to realize how blessed we are to be alive today, considering everything that our world has gone through, what we our world has endured, to know that we are the ambassadors of God. We are God's agents, and that's why our faith is critically important to each of us. That we celebrate the diversity, the uniqueness, as well as the diversity of our faith expressions, but to know that there are so many common elements that unite and bind us together. And Thanksgiving, this season for giving thanks,
I
is the
agree.
ideal time to celebrate the richness of our faith traditions, our belief systems, and to realize that there is so much common in our faith expressions that unite us rather than divide us. We give thanks to God today, to the Creator, to whether we call that Creator Yahweh, Allah, God, El Shaddad, the Great Spirit, by whatever name we give to this divine sovereign power, we give thanks to God in this season. So, without further ado, we are thankful to God for the three great faith leaders that we have today that would
Amen.
take out the time during this Thanksgiving season to be with us. Our first presenter is a very proud Native American Indian and African American. She celebrates today. She gives thanks for the beauty of her faith, her Native American traditions, as well as her beautiful diversity of ethnicity on this program. And we're speaking of none other than the esteemed, the honorable, the venerable Dr. Dottie Chiquello, who has developed programs that support the academic and social success of listen to this, of over 8,200 multi-ethnic students at the University of Maryland in College Park, very near Washington, D.C., just across the border. And in this whole academic and social success, it includes other social and civic organizations. Dr. Chiquello continues her advocacy for African American and Native American, Alaskan Native peoples, social peoples and social justice. She has done many initiatives, many program initiatives, such as having planned and implemented the Office of Multi-Ethnic Student Education, known as OMSE, at the University of Maryland in College Park, programming for African American, Asian American, and Hispanic students in the United States. She developed the U.S. Service Learning Program for the Catawba Indian Reservation as part of an alternative spring break service learning program. She has chaired the National American Indian Advisory Board, meeting with community leaders to strengthen relationship with Native American and Alaskan Native students, faculty, staff, community leaders, and other stakeholders. She has been very much involved in the community, especially in regards to advocacy, a part of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the Maryland State Unit, the Bylaws and Constitution Committee from 2008 to 2010, and the Women's Federation for World Peace, USA, an advisor for the National Assembly 2013. She has received many awards and recognition, too many to lay out before you today. This woman is not only well-grounded, but she is well appreciated. She was appointed Ambassador for Peace in 2007, the USA representative for the Universal Peace Federation and the Interreligious and International Federation for World Peace in Seoul, Korea in 2010 and 2017. She has received the Senior Citizens. You're a senior citizen, Dr. Dr. Chiquelo, you're a senior citizen already. Oh my God. You are so well preserved, as they say. Not a wrinkle, no cracks or anything. I wonder why is that. But she received the Senior Citizens Hall of Fame Award from the Maryland Senior Citizens Hall of Fame Incorporated in 2020. Of course, you know she's well educated. These are earned degrees: Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration, Master of Science, Doctor of Philosophy and Management from Walden University. And listen to this. Lastly, her dissertation. You know, anyone who's pursuing a doctorate degree, an earned degree, has to do a dissertation, a lot of study, a lot of research. Her dissertation title was entitled Retention and Employability of Native American and Alaskan Native U.S. citizens who attend public, predominantly white universities. Wow. So we would have to hear about that at other times. Well, all of this she has taken and intertwined and integrated into her faith that has made her the outstanding woman that she is today. So without further ado, it is my honor, my distinct honor and privilege to present to some and to introduce to others our first faith leader today during this season for giving thanks, Dr. Dottie Chiquelo. Peace be with you, my beloved sister. The floor is now yours.
And peace be with you, patriots, darlings. I mean, on a gloomy day, you make the sun shine.
Oh, wow. I received that.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, my sister, my pleasure.
That was an extremely excellent intro. Thank you. That
Thank
was
you, Dr.
a
Assad.
beautiful one.
Thank you, Dr. Assad. Yours is coming.
And on this
I wish
day,
if I had accomplished half of what she did.
Oh, phenomenal woman. I only gave you 1/10.
And people, on this day, as I pray for the nation and the world, I reflect standing on indigenous soil, known as Mother Earth, and the arrival of pilgrims to these shores. I think about the detrimental behavior toward the first people, Native American, American Indian, first people of color, names used interchangeably, who were already living here. From my understanding of history, the pilgrims insisted that my great-grandmother and great-grandfather were not human, viewing them as the lowest on the totem pole, and they were forced to abandon their native origin and identity. On this day, I think about the 90 Indians who were invited to feast with 52 colonialists at Plymouth Rock Plantation in New England. In my brief research, I couldn't confirm whether the pilgrims and the Indians ate turkey. However, it was confirmed they feasted on duck and goose meat. Over time, the pilgrims did begin killing wild turkeys. Unfortunately, the fellowship and goodwill did not last long. In 1675, they went to war over land rights and trade. Now, we must understand why some Native Americans do not celebrate Thanksgiving and instead observe the day as a day of mourning for the injustice their ancestors faced. While standing on indigenous soil, I also think about the African American, Black, colored individuals, and other names used interchangeably, who were captured, hogtied, and chained during their journey, what some refer to as coming to the New World. The enslaved land in Virginia in 1619 on an English private ship. They arrived. The shipmates on board, they didn't have any goodwill. They traded bodies for food. Can you imagine? Traded bodies for food. Slaved Americans were brought to the new land to walk on indigenous soil, soil that was taken in the same way their bodies were stolen from their homelands, their Mother Earth. While enslaved, they did celebrate thanks and giving just for the rain, which allowed them to plant crops. When President Abraham Lincoln declared Thanksgiving a national holiday on November the 26th, 1863, some African Americans began observing the day as a church-based celebration. Many walked miles to visit family. Some slaves reported that it was a good day to escape, as their owners were more relaxed and less vigilant, and making it easier to evade the slave catchers. Other plantations remain status quo. This leads me to ponder, do we really know the meaning of Thanksgiving and why it is a national holiday? Should we celebrate this holiday by sharing a feast with diverse ethnic identities, just as the Pilgrims and Native Americans did? Do families express gratitude for what another member has done for them, or do people simply follow tradition? We still know that Mother Earth encampment for Native Americans, often referred to a reservation, still lack acceptable housing and food, which many African Americans continue to feel hopeless and marginalized. So what can we do? Is it essential to consider specific actions we can take to support Native American and African Americans during the Thanksgiving holiday? Can we promote awareness of the historical content of the holiday? Facilitate open dialogue about cultural significance like the one we are having today, and actively participate in community initiatives that honor and support these communities. You know, I appreciate the quote from Father Moon in his book titled, "As a Peace-Loving Global Citizen." We are born, though we did not choose to be born. We live, though we did not choose to live. We die, though we do not choose to die. We have no authority over these aspects of our lives. So, how can we boast that we are somehow better than others? This reflects the shared histories that bind different communities and remind us to be cognizant of the past and its ongoing impact today. Native Americans, African Americans, European American, Asian, Spaniards, with endings, each identity confirms when it says African, African, American, European, Asian, Spaniard, and the list goes on and on. I think another suggestion is that we can give back what we have stored inside us. The belief in God, the Creator, our knowledge, love, and prayer. And we all should look forward to one nation under God. Thank you.
Man.
Thank you very much. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Dottie Chiquelo, for taking us to a place that we have often not taken out enough quality time to examine, and you use the whole season of Thanksgiving or the celebration of Thanksgiving to remind us of how it began in the United States of America, how an indigenous people fitted into that whole concept, and what we have often thought of as Thanksgiving has been devoid of the history that you shared with us. First of all, I didn't even remember that it was the 16th president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, who instituted Thanksgiving as a federal holiday on November the 26th in 1863, a very pivotal year in the lives of African Americans, I know, 1863. But now I understand why Thanksgiving is always in November and why it was always doing like the last week. I never knew why we celebrated it.
You know what makes it so difficult for us right, since last year with Thanksgiving. We feel so guilty nowadays in celebrating the Thanksgiving while our people in Gaza cannot even find a slight
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
a slice of bread. Our prayers now, our prayers every time we take a feast, we say, God, in as much as you gave us these blessings, and in as much as you have bestowed your blessings upon us right here in the United States, we ask you to bestow your blessings upon our people in Gaza and Palestine, who cannot even find nowadays even a small slice of bread, a good bread to eat. It is becoming so difficult for us to even celebrate. It is hard, very hard time. You cannot bear to you cannot bear to see yourself eating the best food and the most delicious food, and you know that your families, your brothers, and your people cannot even find this kind of, not even the simple slice of a bread that they can eat. I'm sorry to say this, but I am emotional, especially at this time of the year. Especially at this time of the year. I'm sorry that I had to bring this in, but this is the reality that we face right now as Muslims and as Palestinians.
And I can understand it. And I think that that feeling within you was evoked by Dr. Chukwuelo's whole concept of what the Native American, the indigenous person, as well as later on African Americans, as she related to us, the things that we often think are times to celebrate, perhaps maybe it's a time of mourning. That struck a chord within me when she said that.
And the time that when you appreciate the blessings of Almighty upon you, and time to actually insert your heartfelt and strong prayers to those unfortunate people, or to the people who are in such a harm's way. We
Yes.
we are facing in Gaza and Palestine the same uh, dilemma that the indigenous people of this country has faced right now.
Yes. We are.
So
And
I feel you, ma'am. I really feel you. Okay.
I think we all feel her in a very strong and powerful way, not only in her ability to speak from both angles as person of indigenous as well as African American heritage, ethnicity, but also to see the similarities that are there. So we thank you, Dr. Chiquelo. You inspired our brother, our brother Dean. He's right on the heels of your presentation. So you fired him up now, and you can take full responsibility for his ebullience expressed by your presentation and how it will transfer to his own presentation today. So thank you, Dr. Chiquello. We need to have you back again to expand on that whole concept of indigenization, particularly as it applies to Native Americans, the indigenous population of the United States of America, people who were not brought here, but who sprang up here in the United States. Everyone else is an immigrant, whether forced or unforced to take that position. But your background as an indigenous person, as a Native American, can be very insightful to us as we continue to build upon our traditions, our faith traditions, particularly our interreligious traditions as a people. So thank you for the background too about duck and goose. I don't particularly care for duck. I've had it on one occasion, and it was good, but I don't generally, I guess I had these goose and ducks as pets, and so it's kind of hard for me to think of eating them. I have no problem eating chicken though, and the chickens were running all over the yard. But there's something sacred about ducks and geese that didn't give me that opportunity to appreciate the culinary nature of them. So you're going to challenge me to try that. This has
Well,
been
well,
go ahead. Go ahead, Doctor.
yeah, I would like to mention one thing that Franklin D. Roosevelt was the person that signed in, I don't know if it was law or he just made a proclamation that Thursdays would be Thanksgiving days.
Okay. Great. Thank you for that historic.
1941.
1941. Okay, we need that. We have nothing to fear in you sharing that information with us, but fear itself. Thank you, Dr. Triguelo. It's
You're welcome.
a very rich presentation, and also a challenging one. And it was a presentation that allows us to open our eyes to history, and not to just get caught up in the myth or the glory of it, but to realize the consequences of the things that we do, and particularly even surrounding celebrations. So have a great Thanksgiving, Dr. Chivello. And remember, I don't know, are you going to have turkey on your table, or will it be a goose or a duck?
Neither.
You're a smart woman. Thanks again for your presentation. See you again soon. Our, our next presenter is a voice that you've heard throughout as we interface with our beloved Dr. Dottie Chiquello. I'm speaking of none other than Izzadeen, referred to commonly called by his nickname Dean, Izzadeen Assad, who is the 13th brother of the late Dawood Assad. Dean was born in 1951. That's someone who doesn't look his age. That's why he's telling everybody when he was actually born. 53, I'm sorry, 1953. And he came to the United States in, wow, how was that? Dawood, his brother, came in 51, 2 years before his birth. Dean has enjoyed soccer in his younger years. Uh, he also was very much involved in the economic principles that make it a better life for all of us. He immigrated to the United States, and then he followed, it, as he says, in his brother's footsteps. He always admired his elder brother. But before Dean came to the United States, listen to this, before he came to the United States, he was awarded with the King Hussein Award for Best Citizen in Jordan. He's Jordanian as well. You know, now all of us know uh, Assad, Dawood Assad. So we all know your Jordanian background. He also received the Golden Jubilee Citizen of Jordan Award. He was also awarded for the Jordan Scholastics. He was a club and double champion. Can you believe this, in table tennis? I wonder, could I beat him right now in table tennis? I doubt it. I really doubt it. Uh, maybe he could pass on some of his skills. He lived with his brother Dawood and graduated from Madison High. He and also a school in Old Bridge, New Jersey. He has also taken on the life of a husband, father, and grandfather. He claims that he's retired now to take care of his 5 grandchildren. But trust me, if Dean is anything like his elder brother Dawood, he is doing more work now in retirement than he did when he claimed he was actively involved in business ventures, business administration, and economics. So but what really distinguishes the Assad brothers is that they are deeply entrenched in their faith. Nothing is done outside of the context of their relationship with Allah and with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that they are so deeply connected ecumenically in all that they do, because they have not only a great appreciation for the Islamic faith, but all faith traditions. And what is so outstanding about the Assad brothers is that they actively engage in ecumenical work to clearly demonstrate that one's faith is one's prerogative, but yet also one's faith must never be seen as superior or greater than another's faith. They must work together to really create one universal family under God, brothers and sisters. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask all of you to give your undivided attention to our beloved and esteemed brother, Izzadin Dean Assad. Assalamu alaikum, Habibi. The floor is now yours. Please unmute yourself. Dean, how did you get on mute after you've been contributing so eloquently to the conversation? Please unmute yourself in the lower left-hand corner of your screen.
Unmute.
You are unmuted.
Yeah, thank you. You know, somebody tried to to silence me, but it's okay. No, but you know, even though we are adherent to our Islamic faith and to our the acts and sayings of our Prophet Muhammad, you must remember something, that Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, was mentioned 25 times in our holy book in Quran, while Muhammad was only mentioned 5 times. So actually, when me and my brother Dawood used to tease each other, driving him up to the mosque, we did not relate to either Muhammad's sayings or Jesus' sayings, peace be upon them. No, we went even further than that. We used to tease each other with what Moses used to ask God, ask God uh, you know, uh, to do for him and for his brother Aaron, if you remember, like every time God asked Moses to do something, he would ask him, would you please, God, give me a good assistant of my own family, Aaron, my brother, so we can glorify you and so we can always mention you and so we can convince everybody we are teaching or preaching our faith unto them so they can understand what we say. That's what Moses, and that's what we used to tease. Uh, I used to tease my brother Dawood with. And if you like me to say it in Arabic, I'm willing to, if you like to. But if I know the time is limited here, I want to talk about my brother Dawood. My brother Dawood, um, he's ever since he came to this country in 1951. And remember, I was born in 1953. And for the first time in my life, I met him at JFK when I came to this country in 1971. So when I landed and I came out of the immigration and the customs to see him waiting for me, and my mother was with me coming from Jordan. So I told him, let me introduce myself. I am your number 13th brother for the first time in our life. So uh, Dawood, immediately as soon as I met him, he was heavily involved in in creating the Islamic Service Society in Oldbridge. And from that society, his main goal is to actually first make as many mosques, build as many mosques, and create as many mosques in the United States as possible. And because he was working after he had his master's in mechanical engineer, and then he got his doctorate from his master's of engineer from Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts. And his doctorate degree came from New York, University of New York, for so many different, and he has even honorary one in the uh, uh, in the uh, because he was so involved in interfaith activities. He got involved with Dr. Moon, and he used to love every time that he would go to the Holy Land with all of his colleagues, the Jews, the Muslims, and they used to really they were leaders in finding common ground where everybody can see that peace is the way. Peace is, despite the fact that he is a survivor of the first big butcher of Deir Yassin on uh, April 9th, 1948. He survived the butchering of the Haganah and the Stern and gangs in Deir Yassin. And you would think that when someone leaves this kind of environment and he educates himself to the point where he struggled to uh, to come to United States, and when he came to United States, you would think that he was having a sort of like a vengeance or a hatred or for the people who killed one of his brothers for killed the grandparents on both sides, the aunts and uncles on both sides on April 9, 1948. No, he came out extending his hands, opening his heart, opening his chest, that we are not going to think about revenge or vengeance or anything. No, we want to extend peace so these things can never happen again. That's his mission throughout his life, up to the day he died. He created so many societies. He was the founder of the Islamic Society in Central Jersey. And what's not on my bio, because I was in the business side, I was always the fundraiser. I used to I used to give no choice to our business colleagues, say there is no choice. We have to bring one of the best centers in the world in our area for our people. And then from that center, we have to extend our hands to our brethren in Christianity and Judaism. Those people are good people. Good people. We have to let them know that we are always, they can always find an open heart in us. They can always find an open arm. Ever since even the acquisitions or the crusades, and all the problems that whether the Christians or the Jews have faced anywhere in this world, they always used to run to our Holy Land. We always cuddled them. We always gave them the best life ever. And Golda Meir, Golda Meir, the one of the first front lines of prime ministers of Israel. She testified to that. She said the best life I have ever lived was under the Palestinian rulership. She had a Palestinian passport. We always extend our hands. We always reach out. We always ask people to actually come with clear mind. That's what, I hope I can do 10% of what my brother Dawood has done. He reached throughout the whole world. He went all over the world to preach peace. He was with the interfaith people. He was with with Dr. Moon, spreading this kind of principles. And we had a lot of good rabbis with us. We had a lot of, he used to come so joy. Every time he came back from one of these trips and one of these missions, he used to come so happy, so like I cannot describe the way and his state of mind, state of heart, how he used to come out so joyful, so joyous, and say, we are creating a new world where the faiths melt together like one unit. There is no difference between our religions, our religion and any other religion. We are not superior. We never claim superiority. We glorify Jesus Christ. We glorify Moses. We glorify David, peace be upon them. And we also glorify our own prophet Muhammad. So here, I would ask any of you good people, which I'm looking at right now, if there is any way you can utilize me to complete the mission of my brother Dawood, to bring peace together, to bring people on one common ground. We are all the children of Allah, the children of God, the children of Yahweh, whatever, however you want to say his name. We are all the Creator's children. So I am thankful. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I really thank Mr. Barry Geller for inviting me. You people are wonderful people, and we would love to interact more and to be given the opportunity to continue the path of my brother Dawood, the peaceful man, the man we have lost, the man we miss so much. Thank you very much. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Afwan. Our beloved brother Izzadin Dean Assad, we were all moved and touched by your very strong personal testimony about your beloved elder brother, the second of the Assad brothers, Dr. Imam Dawood Assad. Everything that you said about him, not only do we resonate with it, but we are well aware because of our personal encounters with him that everything you say is true. His mantra, as you stated so eloquently, was peace is the way. He lived that. I personally knew him for over 20 years. I worked with him alongside of him. Everyone had the deepest and most profound respect for your elder brother. You have only scratched the surface of how he touched and changed the lives of so many people. And we are all diminished by his passing. The French writer by the name of Francois Mauriac, 18th century, I'm sorry, 19th, 20th century, or 18 to 19th century. You moved me so much now I can't even get my words out. But he says we are all molded and remolded by those who have loved us. And even though that love must pass or may pass away, we remain nonetheless their work. No love, no friendship can ever cross the path of our destiny without leaving some mark on it forever. Francois Mauriac, 18th, 19th centuries. And that's what your brother did.
He did a lot more than we can ever imagine. He
Right.
was a Superman.
And it was very humble about it.
He was.
As you said, Dean, he did so many things, much more than we could even understand or even realize, because he was a very simple, humble, honest, truthful, yet challenging man. And thank God for his legacy that we can cling to that. But I will miss seeing him. And he had a beautiful way of smiling or laughing because he realized that we were all united together in an inextricable uh, bond, that we were really united together as brothers and sisters. So thank you for that insight, and we will honor his memory soon.
I appreciate it, and I'm
We're going to
willing
honor
to.
his memory. We're going to bring our whole community together to celebrate his life, his love, and his legacy for all of humanity. So thank you, my
Thank
brother.
you.
Your heart is heavy, but thank you for making this a very special moment for all of us to remember a great man of God. Assalamu alaikum,
Wa
Habibi.
alaikum assalam. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum jami'an.
Thank you. Thank you. I know this has been an extraordinarily different type of weekly UPF, IAPD, Interfaith weekly prayer celebration. But for me, it is not only the most unique, but it is the one that will be most memorable. Our last presenter today is an outstanding pastor who is the shepherd of the Community Bible Church, Pastor Brian Burrell, who received the call to ministry at the tender age of 12. He graduated from Nyack College in 1982 with a major in history, and he received his master's in professional studies from the Alliance Theological Seminary in 1992. He and his devoted wife Lucy were called by the Community Bible Church to serve there, and he has been the church's pastor since February of 1985. He continues to serve there and is the longest serving pastor in the church's history. Pastor Burrell is the father of 5 and the grandfather of 9. He currently serves as treasurer of the Rockland County 21st Century Collaborative for Children and Youth, and his ministry as pastor reaches out to all of the diverse parts of the community, and he has served in that capacity for over 40 years. The number 40 is just a period of spiritual preparation for an even greater event. So the best in Pastor Burrell's life is yet to come. Let us present at this time our beloved and esteemed brother, the pastor of Community Bible Church, the Reverend Brian Burrell. May the peace of the risen Christ be always with you, my brother. The floor is now yours.
Thank you. As I've thought about Thanksgiving, as I've thought about gratitude, and then as I've also thought about peace, how is it that we can bring those two things together? And I looked at Philippians chapter 4, and Philippians 4:6-7 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." So here we see in this passage how gratitude opens the door to God's peace. And it's a peace that we've heard about tonight. Each and every one of the people that have spoken tonight have spoken not only of our ability as people to give thanksgiving, but our need as people to find peace. This connects with all of the 3 Abrahamic faiths. When we look at the connection with Judaism, as I look at it, the daily prayers in the Modai give thanks for the gift of life every day. Our Jewish brothers and sisters enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise, give thanks to him and praise his name. So praising God, I have found in my life and ministry, thanking God for all the things that he has done and is doing. These combination things come together, but there also is this element of peace that combines it all together, that it's combined. So when we look at I was thinking about our Islamic brothers and sisters, and the Quran 14:7 says, "If you are grateful, I will certainly give you more." And so across these 3 faith traditions, across my lived experience as a person, as a father, as a grandfather, I need at this Thanksgiving time of the year, and as I give thought to Thanksgiving, that I need to work on Thanksgiving that results from inner peace. Thanksgiving that results from a harmony that we've already talked about tonight, with all the creation. I believe that Thanksgiving leads to peace. Thanksgiving leads to peace, and that just goes beyond human comprehension. As I've thought about it, I recognize that we as Christians are called to live in harmony with one another. And Romans 12:18 makes that clear. It says, "If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone." And so I think that Thanksgiving right now is giving us an opportunity to practice this by focusing on what unites us rather than what divides us. We need to be recognizing in our Thanksgiving the image of God in every person, and fostering our relationships and having mutual respect. Thanksgiving is a time of gratitude. Thanksgiving is a time for reflection. Thanksgiving is a time for unity. And Thanksgiving is a time for peace. And I think about each of the members of my family. And as I think about the friends that I have in other faith communities, including those who are on this call, this Zoom today, I am so very grateful for what we have in common. I'm so very grateful for what we share together. I'm so grateful for the opportunity that we can have in this venue to be able to express how God has spoken to us regarding Thanksgiving. So there is so much that is in unity in this regard. And I think that we ought perhaps think very clearly about this. There are essentials in faith. We need to be living at peace with one another. We need to be loving one another. There are some areas where there is difference, and difference is not worse. There are things that we have that are differences, but the unifying reality and factor is we have a desire for Thanksgiving. We have an ability right now to provide that Thanksgiving through this event that we call Thanksgiving here in this country. But I think that it needs to be so much deeper than that. When we are thinking about Thanksgiving, going back to the God who gives us both life and breath, the God who gives us every reason to be thankful, also understands that we cannot be fully thankful unless we are at peace with one another, and unless we have the unity with one another that God wants us to have. So I am thankful for my brothers and sisters throughout the various faith communities who share their love for me and to me, share their different perspectives and love. And I just have to tell you, as I think about 40 years of ministry, and as I think about the Bible speaking directly to this issue, I just think that one of the things that we ought to have on our top priority list is to live at peace with everyone. If that could be the Thanksgiving gift that we embrace, the Thanksgiving gift that we want to impart, it's a Thanksgiving that is expressed through unity and peace. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak this evening, and I am grateful for all of the many gifts and goodnesses of God that have come my way. And I'm honored to be on this Zoom with each of you and participating in this time together. God bless you all.
And God bless you too, Pastor Reverend Brian Burrell. Thank you, and we accept your Thanksgiving gift. You have beautifully woven together the whole concepts of peace and Thanksgiving. You said bringing peace and the celebration of Thanksgiving together, and you did that so eloquently that when you spoke of gratitude really as that which opens the door to peace is right on point. Because if we're not grateful, how can we be sensitive enough to what others bring to the table to establish a world of true and lasting peace? And focusing on what unites us, as you said, rather than what divides us. Haven't we said that over and over again? Where are the listening ears? We've got to find them. Especially when it comes to all of us, every one of us, regardless, is created in the image and likeness of God. You have given us the Thanksgiving gift that we need right now. All of you who presented today have focused on that whole concept of giving thanks. And we are eternally grateful to you and to all of our presenters today. And I could say more, but I know we are tight on time. So I'm going to turn this program to its finale to none other than the esteemed and the beloved Senior Vice President of the Universal Peace Federation in North America, our beloved sister, Mrs. Tomiko Duggan. Peace, shalom, assalamu alaikum, shanti, shanti. The floor is now yours.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Archbishop Starrings. May the Thanksgiving be filled with hope and joy and happiness. Have a nice, wonderful Thanksgiving day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Very much.
See you next week on Thursday of next week.